Okay, so pagpatak ng alas 8. So again, everyone, ay i-share nyo po ito sa inyong newsfeed, put it into public so that marami po tayo makasama. And yes, may ipamimigay tayo later on. So again, we will officially start our webinar for today. Ayun. So don't worry, yung mga mensahe ninyo, nababasa po natin yan. Okay? So again, welcome to our free live webinar for tonight. This is Coach J of Keto Baking with Coach J. And we've been in the low-carb baking industry for 5 years already. And of course, we have already so many low-carb baking students, both online and face-to-face. And this time, sa topic po natin ngayong gabi ay I would like to share the importance of the sugar substitutes baking with sugar substitutes. Okay? So, ayan, ihanda ninyo ang pakikinig at ang inyong mga notes dahil mamaya ay meron tayong pamimigay at meron tayong contest. O, diba? Okay. So, anyway. Okay? So, mamaya ang ating mga announcements. So, let's get started. So, ang tanong ko sa inyo, o diba, tanong ko na kagad, sino sa inyo ang may sweet tooth? Ayan. Taas ang kamay. Okay, sino sa inyo ang may sweet tooth? Ang mahilig sa matamis. Okay? Kaway-kaway lang may sweet tooth dyan dahil ako talaga may sweet tooth talaga ako. Especially nung hindi pa nag-low carb. Ayan, diba? Lalo na ang mga girls, ang mga babae. Karamihan sa mga kilala kong babae ay may sweet tooth talaga. Okay? So, sino bang may sweet tooth, 'di ba? So, ang tanong is, 'di ba, ang tanong yung sugar ba, okay, ang role ba talaga ng sugar ay magbigay lang ng tamis. Okay? Pero well, anyway, meron pong iba't ibang role ang sugar. Even sugar substitutes in low carb baking. So, for tonight, we're gonna talk about sugar substitutes in low-carb baking. Okay? So, yan po yung context natin sa gabing ito. Alright? So, malaki po ang role ng sugar substitutes in low-carb baking, especially po with my experience in baking for several years already. Okay? So, meaning, itong mga sugar substitutes na meron tayong nakikita at na-discover, they are actually not created equal. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, iba-iba po yung effect nila pag ginamit natin sila sa low-carb baking. Okay? So, first and foremost, tignan po muna natin, ano ba ang role ng sugar sa baking? Well, alam niyo po ba na ang sugar, no, sa baking, it provides volume or bulk. Meaning, it is an instrument or an ingredient na meron siyang bulking properties. So, meron din pala siyang volume. Nagbibigay po siya ng volume sa pagbe-bake. So, if we compare a baked item with sugar and without sugar, mas may volume, mas may weight, mas lumulobo ng konti yung may sugar sa walang sugar. Okay? So, sugar provides volume or bulk sa ating mga baking recipes, okay? Especially when we cream butter with sugar. Okay, so una muna bibigay ko lang yung role ng sugar sa baking. So it provides volume, no? And kumbaga sa when we talk about low carb baking, it's also a leavening agent. Kasi sa low carb baking, normally wala tayong starch, wala tayong gluten. So, yung sugar substitute, it helps yung mga bread natin na mag-rise. Would you believe that? Diba? Kaya, yun po yung isang role ng sugar substitute. It is a bulking agent. Okay? Second, yung sugar substitutes po, it provides stability. Okay? To whip ingredients. Ayan. Recently po kasi, I have been baking, okay, with cream and egg whites. Ayan, karamihan po ng mga sinisimulan ko ngayon is incorporating egg whites, okay, like our mga flourless protein bread, our brazo, even our ensaymada, even our pandesal. Okay, I have several recipes that I am incorporating egg whites. So, with the addition of sugar substitute, it helps stabilize, okay? Mas nagiging steady, mas nagiging stable at hindi agad nagdi-deflate yung ating cream, whipped cream, and yung ating mga egg white mixture. Okay? So, yun ang isa sa role din ng sugar substitute. Okay? So, basically, dalawa. First, it's a bulking agent. Second, it provides stability. So, the next question now, kung yan ang ilan sa mga roles, no, aside from providing sweetness, okay, ano naman yung appropriate sugar substitutes na kailangan nating gamitin para ma-achieve natin yung output na gusto natin sa low carb? Kasi 'di ba, in the absence of gluten, in the absence of starch, okay, in the absence of wheat flours, then ano yung sugar substitute na pwedeng gamitin para yung ibe-bake natin ay magiging similar if not closer to the traditional recipes. Ayun. Okay? So, eto yon. Merong mga sugar substitutes that do not provide volume. Meaning, they are not bulking agents. So, they are not all created equal. Basta sweetener, pwede na, hindi po. Okay? So, may mga sugar substitutes that I don't bake with them because first and foremost, they do not provide the volume, okay, the texture that I need. Okay, let's talk about stevia. Okay? Stevia is one of the most, safest and natural sugar substitute. But I never bake with pure stevia. First and foremost, sino po sa inyo ang nakatry na tumikim ng stevia or nag-bake na merong stevia? Meron ba sa inyo? Baking baking. Okay? Kung meron na po sa inyo nakapag-bake with stevia, ano po yung effect or ano po yung lasa ng stevia? Okay? First, stevia has a bitter aftertaste. Tama? Okay? Meron po siyang bitter aftertaste. Although it's very natural and it is, kumbaga sa zero. Of course, hindi talaga mag-affect yung blood sugar natin. But we do not bake with stevia. Okay? Because aside from it having an aftertaste, it is not a bulking agent. It will not provide volume doon sa baked product natin. Okay? So, I do not bake with stevia. Now, let's talk about monk fruit. Okay. Sino naman sa inyo na nakatry na ng monk fruit? Okay? Monk fruit kasi is one of my favorites kasi it's like almost 1:1 with regular sugar. Meaning, it is really sweet. Okay? It is as sweet as traditional sugar, monk fruit. Yan. But we do not bake with pure monk fruit. Again, monk fruit is not a bulking agent. It will not provide volume doon sa ating baked product. Kaya, kumpara mo, if we bake with monk fruit, the cupcake is smaller. The cake is smaller. The bread is smaller. Although it is sweet, but it is smaller because monk fruit is not a bulking agent. So what are the sweeteners that will help give volume? Oo. Tama ka, Marites, no? Hindi talaga umaalsa to. Kaya pala daw hindi umaalsa. Yes, if we use pure monk fruit. Okay? Actually, the sugar substitute that will really provide volume is erythritol. Okay? Ulitin ko, erythritol po. Pero si erythritol, meron po siyang aftertaste din. Ano ba ang aftertaste ng erythritol? Erythritol has a minty aftertaste. Okay? So sabi nila para kang nag-toothpaste. It has a minty aftertaste. Pero actually, erythritol is a bulking agent. Okay, so for the past more than 3 years of my low-carb baking, I've been baking with pure erythritol. Yes, it's true, it will give volume, pero at the same time, medyo matigas yung baked item natin, at saka yun nga, meron siyang minty taste. So, nabigyan ko siya ng solusyon. Okay, so babalikan ko kayo regarding erythritol. Now, there's another sugar substitute that is recently new, hindi man new talagang new, pero new sa karamihan, bago, and it's called allulose. Alright? So, what is allulose? Okay, allulose is again another sugar substitute. This one doesn't provide volume. It's not a bulking agent, but I love allulose because it's like monk fruit, it's as sweet as regular sugar. Pero ano yung role ni allulose? Okay? Allulose is actually good for caramelizing, for syrups, even for drinks, for custards. Okay? Gusto mo soften yung iyong mga binibake. And for ice cream, allulose is good for that. Because allulose doesn't crystallize like erythritol. If you use it appropriately, si allulose, no, let's say caramel syrup, you want to caramelize your sugar, you want a brown effect, then use allulose, no? If that's what the recipe calls for. Pero, 'di ba? You cannot, if you use erythritol sa mga syrup, nagki-crystallize po 'yun. Let's say syrup ng leche flan, 'di ba? If you use erythritol, lagay mo lang sa chiller sandali, hindi na siya magli-liquidify na matigas na siya at para siyang bato-bato. 'Yun yung erythritol. But if you use allulose, like I use allulose for my caramel syrup, for my low-carb condensed milk, okay, for my leche flan syrup, you use allulose, I use allulose for my ice cream, wala po siyang crystallization. But again, for baked goodies, it's not a bulking agent. Meron lang siyang ibang paggagamitan. As mentioned, sa mga syrups, no, and custards. Alright? So, may iba't ibang role lang sila. So again, yun yung mga roles ng mga sugar substitute. Now, there's another, babalikan ko po yung erythritol there's another sugar substitute, no, na in the market, which is sucralose. Alam niyo po ba kung ano yung sucralose? Okay? Sucralose is a sugar substitute na gamit do sa binibenta sa supermarket na equal gold. Okay? So that's sucralose. But, okay, I do not bake with sucralose. I even do not cook with sucralose. No? So, may mga iba't ibang effects yan, but bottom line, no, in my low-carb baking experience, I don't bake or cook with sucralose. Alright? Kung cooking lang, still, you can still use erythritol, you can still use monk fruit. Okay? So, yon. So, balik tayo. So, what do I use, no, for low-carb baking? Okay. By the way, bago pala ako bumalik dyan, there's another sugar substitute pala. Okay? It's called inulin. Ayan. I've been using inulin also. Para saan? Again, yung mga binabanggit nating sugar substitutes, they are safe, no, and considered low carb. So, sino si inulin? Actually, may mga recent, makikita tayong recent na mga low carb bakers online that they've been really baking with inulin as their sugar substitute. I haven't tried that yet, but I've been using inulin to activate the yeast. Okay? So, meron na tayong mga yeasted recipes. Before, I do not use it because To activate the yeast, you need regular sugar, you need maple syrup, or honey. Although for some, okay lang daw yung kasi kinakain ni yeast yung sugar. But to be safer, maganda naman, lumabas na si inulin. Kasi, it's the only sugar substitute that can activate the yeast. Yun. So, yung mga yeasted recipes natin, okay, like loaf breads, and even mga buns, diba? Lahat ng may yeast natin, we use inulin to activate the yeast. Okay, so, yun yung role sa low carb baking ko na sugar substitute na inulin, okay, to activate the yeast. So, balik tayo. Okay? So again, sabi ko, aside from providing sweetness, the sugar in low carb baking is either can provide bulk or not, depende sa gamit, and it also provides stability para maging stable yung mga merang natin, mga egg whites natin, and whipped creams natin. Then we have several sugar substitutes at may kani-kanyang role sila. Bottom line, the sugar substitutes that I use for low carb baking is inulin, okay, inulin to activate the yeast, allulose for sugar syrups, no, sugar-free syrups, caramel syrups, custards, and then I use monk fruit, okay, para saan? Kasi, again, sabi ko kanina, monk fruit, okay, doesn't provide volume. Well, I use monk fruit to blend with erythritol. Ayun. So, very recently, okay, so eto na ang bagong tip na mabibigay ko sa inyo. Since baking with pure erythritol gives us a minty taste at medyo mas matigas ng konti yung baked goodies natin, then, now, recently, I started baking with sugar blends. Meaning, okay, it's a mixture of two different types of sugar substitutes. And they are actually ready in the market today. Alright? Meaning, online, you can find suppliers selling sugar blends like erythritol monk fruit blend, allulose erythritol blend. Okay? So, for me, the blended sugar substitutes are a lot better than baking with pure erythritol. Ayun. Okay? So, having said that, maiiba na ngayon, makikita mo na mas maganda na ang baked output mo if you use the sugar blends. Okay? At the same time, you don't need to use a lot. Kasi erythritol itself is bland, mas matabang. Mas matabang ang pure erythritol. But if you try yung mga sugar blends, subukan mo lang, tikman mo. May konting sipa na ng tamis. So ibig sabihin, you don't need a lot. Okay? You don't need a lot. So, yun na ngayon yung for me, personally, the best, no, is to bake with sugar blends. Ayun. Pero, huwag mong tanggalin sa eksena si erythritol, it's because it's a bulking agent. Kung yun yung goal mo. But if your goal is just to provide sweetness and you don't mind kung aalsa ba o hindi, then it's up to you. You can use allulose, you can use monk fruit. It's really up to you. Okay? So, kung mapapansin natin, iba-iba yung nako-contribute ng mga sugar substitutes. Now, of course, meron pong tinatawag na granulated and powdered form. Okay? There are recipes that will call for granulated. Okay? So, follow that kasi, again, the granulated, it depends sa output ng recipe na hinahanap natin. Or kung powdered form naman, dahil syempre, gusto mo, iba yung output na hinahanap po, lalo na powdered form, kung sa mga cream, icing, etc., then yun dapat yung sundin mo. At meron na rin namang available in the market na sugar blend na powdered form na rin. Okay? So, pero, do not interchange. If the recipe calls for granulated, yun mismo yung sundin mo. Kasi again, magbabago yung texture and yung bake output natin. Kung hindi, kumbaga kung granulated ang hiningi, tapos powdered ang ginamit mo, I'm telling you, magkaiba ang bake output natin. Alright? So, ganun ka, ganun ka picky, ganun ka choosy. Okay? Yung recipes ng low carb. So, kailangan talaga ay maging rin tayo, aware. Hindi yung, though, I know, there are a lot of you who are already traditional bakers. Kung meron na po sa ating mga traditional bakers, matagal na nagbe-bake ng mga traditional flours, no? Well, low carb baking is a different science actually. Because in low carb baking, you are not dealing with gluten, you are not dealing with starch, and the sugar substitutes are different as well. Okay? So, yun po yung pinaka-challenging doon. But of course, ang advantage naman, learning how to bake low carb is pwede ka nang mag-bake ng mga sugar-free, healthier, diabetic-friendly baked goodies, diba? All it takes is to understand it and do it one at a time. One at a time. Okay? So, may natututunan ba tayo sa discussion natin today? Okay, with sugar substitutes. So, again, for me personally, I recommend using the sugar blends po. Okay? Yun po yung nire-recommend natin when baking with sugar substitutes. Kaya, pag iniba nyo po kasi yung sa recipe, maiiba rin po talaga yung baked output. Especially kung if you're just new in low carb baking, okay, I recommend that you follow what's on the recipe. Now, okay, meron talaga na yung iba sa recipe nila ay merong mga liquid drops, stevia drops. Okay? Ako, it's okay to add the stevia drops kung kulang sa flavor at tamis yung baked item mo or yung recipe mo, yung dough mo. Okay? Normally sa mga sweet treats, okay, pwede kang magdagdag lang ng a few drops. Pero, nandun na yung iyong sugar blend. Meaning, na-mix mo na, nandun na siya, nandun na yung erythritol sugar blend mo, and then kung natatabangan ka pa and you have the stevia drops, pwede ka rin naman po maglagay ng stevia drops. Alright? So, wag lang, if you just bake with pure stevia drops, again, it's not a bulking agent. It will not produce volume. Okay? Kung may na-miss out po ako, yes, sabi niya, okay, what about equal gold? Equal gold is sucralose. As mentioned earlier, I don't bake with sucralose for so many other reasons, but I won't mention now. Again, ang proven ko na bulking agent is sugar blend, which is erythritol plus other sugar substitutes. Okay? Kung wala kang blend, pure erythritol is fine. Walang problema. I've been baking with pure erythritol for 4 years already. Okay? Hi, Coach. Sabi ni Lee, the best option din po ba ang sugar blends for baking cakes? Yes. Yes. For all of my recipes, I've been using already sugar blend. Whether breads, whether sweet treats, whether cakes. Lahat po ng nasa garapon ko ng sugar substitute is sugar blend na. Okay? So, alright? And then, baka po may mga tanong. Okay, tinitingnan lang po natin ang mga question. Medyo bumabalik. How about sa icing? Yes, sugar blend pa rin, pero powdered. Okay? Meron naman pong powdered na sugar blend. Okay? So, pwedeng-pwede po. Okay? Sa mga frostings natin, sugar blend pa rin. Okay? So, okay naman po siya. Sa oras na ito, ang tanong ko lang, may natutunan ba kayo? Okay, so I hope po na itong ating maikling webinar ay nakapagbigay po tayo ng information tips and recommendations, no, on baking with sugar substitute sa low-carb baking. And yes, thank you po do sa mga sumasagot na-appreciate ko po yan, na nakinig kayo at nanood kayo ngayong gabi.